Hey there, Riley Car Guy here, and today we are going to be installing a new radio in this 2005 Ford Mustang. This is a GT model with the Thumper 1000 system in it. Today we're installing a Kenwood DDX 6705S. It's going to support all of this car owner's needs. It has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, of course Bluetooth, and it has support for a backup camera and a CD player. So let's jump right in with removing the old system. Start by removing the two screws on the rear of the console. Once those are out, put them aside. Next, you want to carefully remove the trim around the shifter. If you have a plastic removal tool, you'll definitely want to use that here. I just have a gasket scraper. I don't have the tools with me, but that'll work just fine as well. Just very gently remove that, twist it, and set it aside. We're going to remove this upper trim. So starting from the front, start lifting the trim. All right. We're going to have to pull the brake here. Just start lifting it off. All right, very good. Didn't have to change gears, so that's nice. Just pull that off and set it aside. Next, we're just going to pull off these pillar covers on the left and right of the radio. So just grab with your fingers and just pull straight out. There you go. And then just set them aside. Next, we have 6 7mm bolts that are holding in this plastic piece. Remove those. Once those are out, you need to pull away this plastic piece. The dials are going to come with it, and we're going to have to unplug electrical connectors afterwards, so be sure to not really yank on this. There's a tab at the top. You kind of want to bend that down. All right, and then this will lift away. Now, the connectors on the bottom are very, very tight, so this is as far away as you can pull them. So you need to get behind here with your hands, and there's a lot of space since we pulled off these pillar covers. Just get behind there and disconnect these, and then it'll start to pull away. So the bottom's been disconnected, and I apologize. I tried to get a camera angle back there, but it was just way too tight. There's just 2 connectors. One you can reach from the right, the other you can reach from the left. The one on the right is one of those styles where you have to push in a tab and then swing a little arm up. And the other side is just like a classic little pin with the plastic that pops over it. So now that those are off, we're going to just remove these, and these are just, again, really easy ones to remove. You just press it with your finger. Remove all 3 of those. This one's a little tight, so I'm just going to press it with my Phillips head screwdriver here. There we go. And now that that's out, just carefully pull that off and set it aside. Now you have another 4 7mm bolts holding in the radio. Just remove those. With all of those out, you can just grab the unit and then disconnect the cables from the rear. Now just go set this aside. See, this was an aftermarket radio, but luckily they did not cut into the harnesses. So we have a kit that will plug directly into these harnesses that we can wire up to the radio, and we're going to go do that next. The way I connect all the wires is using butt connectors. It's just a personal preference of mine. I go through and I connect everything with those connectors, and then after that I go back over them with electrical tape. Once you have the harnesses connected, you can put the harness back into the car, and I have a few extra things here so it seems extra messy, but get both of your harnesses that plug into the actual harnesses coming out of the car, and you can plug those in and just kind of start doing some wire management. There's one. Find the other. Okay. Plug in the other. Alright. So now you can kind of tuck these wires back, get them out of the way, and you're going to need obviously what plugs into the back of the radio, which is this here. You also need the subwoofer connector, and that's right here. And you need, in this case, we have a backup camera, so we're going to need that connection as well. So just make sure those connections are available and set those wires aside. Then we're going to go run the microphone for the Bluetooth audio. Running the mic isn't as complicated as it sounds. The only issue is really how big they make these things. They make them huge for some reason. So I like to put the microphone in the upper left-hand corner of the windshield where the headliner meets that A-pillar trim. Now in most cars, these pieces of trim will just remove by pulling. So that's what I did. I just stuck my fingers underneath the trim and pulled down. So we're just going to kind of place this up here for now. Actually, I'll put it right in this groove here. That'll help. And then I'm going to run the cable on the inside of that trim and then back down the side, and then underneath the dash. So let's start with that. I'm going to remove that as well. That'll give us passage into the side of the dash. Excellent. There we go. So pull that through. Okay. Oh, I pulled it the wrong direction here. There we go. Awesome. So now we started up here and we're still up here. We went underneath this trim, behind it, so it doesn't have to go all the way up to where the windshield meets the dash. It can come down right here, and then we're going to tuck it behind this piece, and then it made its way right through here. Now it's going to be underneath the dash. So we can kind of put this all back together and then just deal with this slack getting over to the radio. One more thing is, while you're reassembling this, check for pinches. You can literally just pull your microphone back and forth, and you'll see that it's kind of flowing back and forth freely. That means we don't have it pinched anywhere. You want to make sure you're doing this as you go through these steps, because you'd hate to, basically shear this wire off with some trim pieces. Now we have that whole side buttoned up. As you can see, no wires are exposed, and now we just have our wires sitting here underneath the dash. I'm just going to run this underneath the driver's side above the pedals, making sure that you use zip ties and make sure that these are not going to get anywhere near your steering column or your brake or gas pedal. On this side, there's a big old gap that you can get that into, so it's behind the radio. And then after that, we just plug in the radio and make sure it works. Next, I'm going to install the radio into the install kit. This kit came from the old radio that was just installed, but if you need one, I'll definitely put a link in the description below where you can get one. This is pretty simple. Just slide the radio into it and then secure it on the sides. Once you have all the screws in, you're ready to install it into the dash. Now that we have everything that we need behind the radio, we're going to plug it all in and do kind of like a half install and make sure that everything works. If you have any slack like I do here with the microphone cable, just kind of tie it off with a zip tie or like a twist tie, and just kind of set it somewhere where it isn't going to interfere. Now we're just going to grab our new head unit and plug everything in. Alright, so all 50 things are plugged in here. Just want to make sure you're not pinching any wires. So take as much as you can, kind of tuck it back in the lower back of this cavity here, and then grab all your wires for everything else and pull those up and make sure they're available. And then just slide the head unit in. There we go. Excellent. And then screw it in. Okay, so now that it's screwed back in, we're going to go put our negative battery cable back on, get the battery connected, and then we're going to test this and make sure that it works. Excellent, so we plugged it in, we got everything up and running, and it appears to be on. So we're just going to go through the settings, we'll make sure that everything works. Test all of the speakers, test the microphone, the subwoofer, anything that you connected in the back, make sure it's tested before you go beyond this point, because if you go and reassemble it and then have to tear it all apart, you're not going to like that. So I tested everything and it works. So all we need to do now is just reassemble everything that we took apart to get to it, and then that's it. So that's it. Any parts that I use in this video that you might be interested in, check out the description below where I put product links. If you have any questions about this job, go ahead and throw them in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll also be doing a review of the radio I installed today, so keep a lookout for that. And also, if you want to keep up with what I'm doing, head to rtcg.tv. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.